Wah 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 wah. Da 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 do 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 do. Internet. Excuse me. Hello. What's happening, Internet? What's going on? Oh my lordy lordy, it's a Wednesday, everybody. Who's freaking out because it's Wednesday? It's early. It's 11 a.m., which means I've been awake for 6 hours. I've run all my errands. I've got most of that stuff done for the day. If you guys didn't notice, the title of today's live stream is Off to the Aquatic Experience in New Jersey. That's right. I'm in the middle. Right now, I'm in the middle of packing all the bags and getting everything together. I've got batteries all over the place. I've got SD cards everywhere, getting everything organized to make sure that I have enough batteries, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if anybody's even interested in any of my packing bags. That's one thing I've noticed that always kind of makes me feel a little bit weird about YouTube is like when people, generally speaking, when they post a video that's like, here's all the stuff that goes in my bag. I don't know. I don't know if I ever find that to be that interesting, but you never know. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's observational, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I was just kind of making fun of packed bags videos on YouTube. I don't know. Whatever. Sorry about that. What's up, everybody? How you doing? We've got Oddball Aquatics first to the chat for a real early show. Bentley Pascal is here. He's saying that, yes, he went with the suggestion from the Peanut Gallery. Yes, I did. I went with the let's do an early show on Wednesday before we hit the flight out of town. And, you know, hopefully that'll work out. I mean, hopefully the idea of this will work out, that we do an early show. Maybe some people will show up. We see the numbers going up here. Got a bunch of people throwing down in the chat now. So we got Keel Quigley here, little largemouth, Turbo Fish, saying, oh, hermano, hola, hola, hermano. Well, right back at you, brother. Dank Tanks is here saying, what's up, man? Let's see. Fish Eye on Tank Dicks. It's so hard to read. Hit the like, and now I made a live show. Turbo Fish says I can chat now too. Usually he's on the TV. Oh, that's right. I'm usually on the TV, right? Daryl Deemer is here. What's up, buddy? Lena Martins, James Leiser. Wah wah for coffee. I always got my coffee. There better be a good coffee spot near the Aquatic Experience, or I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably just be sad. I guess that's the reality. I guess I would just be sad. I don't know that I would freak out or anything, but I'd just be like, man, this could be better. Michael Hartley, whoa, midday stream of consciousness. That's right. Richard Stanks is here. Gar Graphics, Aquatics, and Reptiles is here. What's up, everybody? Richard's Tanks is here. Chevy Smith, Big Pedro. Derek Reynolds. Lena Martins is asking, will certain fish eat my plants? Yes, certain fish will eat your plants. A lot of the bigger cichlids will definitely uproot your plants. They won't necessarily eat your plants. Goldfish will eat your plants, but the list is pretty short as far as ones that will eat your plants. Goldfish would be the main ones that I would be concerned about: goldfish, koi, stuff like that. But I wouldn't be too stressed about it. Normally, they just disturb your plants. That's normally the big thing that they like to do. The Fish Nerd is here. Aquatic Experience heading that way tomorrow. Yes, I am also. I should be there for some of the Thursday night setup stuff. I got some meetings on Thursday, and yes, I'll be there Thursday basically, and Monday morning, I guess. I have to head off to the airport Monday, like noon or something like that. So I guess I'll be there early Monday too, but you know, it should be pretty good. I'm pretty excited for it. And you know, there's going to be a lot of good stuff, a lot of fun people. Ken M.A. is here. Mad Tank says, what's up? James Leiser. So Wawa is actually the convenience store for decent coffee. Okay, all right. I don't know what Wawa is, but hopefully I'll figure that out. Fish Nerd says, pretty sure there's a Dunkin' right by the Expo Center. We got... I think because Carlos brings up the Fish Nerd, because you bring up the Dunkin', I don't know if anybody has seen the Casey Affleck Saturday Night Live Dunkin' Donuts sketch. That is I have to admit, that is one of the funniest sketches I have seen on Saturday Night Live in many, many years. And it really cracks me up, man. It is so funny. I highly recommend it. It's not dirty or anything. I guess, I don't know. There's some like bleeped fake swears and stuff in it, but it is funny. And regardless of anybody's, political Casey Affleck, whatever, I just suspend yourself from any of the Casey Affleck stuff and just watch it and get a laugh. It's pretty funny. Wheezy says, why can't the bar mitzvah I have to go to in New Jersey be this weekend and not next weekend? Ooh, that would be convenient. That would be super convenient, for sure, if you could do it that way. Let's see. Ken is here. Lena says she has an 8-gallon Fluval Flora. I want my plants to flourish before I add fish and friends. Yeah, if you have an 8-gallon tank, most everything that would be going into an 8-gallon tank is pretty small. You should definitely have a small fish load in an 8-gallon like that. There's a lot of nano fish out there that are okay for smaller tanks. As you guys know, I used to do nano tanks all the time. Obviously, my favorite inhabitant would be to get a really cool beta. There's some really cool betas available out there now, and I think I would probably go a beta route in a nano these days. Obviously, shrimp is an opportunity. If you're doing a nano tank, I would maybe take into consideration some shrimp. There are like some pygmy cory cats that might do all right, but the water quality does become a concern with a tank that's that small. So I would also take into account if you're going to just how much water maintenance and stuff like that you are going to do, and figure that out. But yeah, there definitely are some good opportunities in an 8-gallon. Let's go to the video. What's the video, you guys? Is it working? What? Why isn't it play? Why wasn't it? It didn't play from the beginning. It just started playing all weird. Here we go. Okay. So, as you can see from the intro here, this is the Aquatic Experience last year. There's Gone Mad and Iris. We went out to Biscuits and Gravy every single day that we were out there, which awesome, by the way. This was out in Chicago, and you just got to admit that Chicago, the Midwest, they take their biscuits and gravy very seriously, which is almost important. Here's a display tank that was set up by Lucas Bretz, if memory suits me correctly. I believe this was Lucas's tank, and then here were a bunch of the nano tanks and stuff like that that were on display. This is after the awards and stuff went in. Quite the big I guess, scape off, whatever you want to call it. It was an aquascaping competition. It was pretty cool. I'll just let the video kind of ramble along as we kind of cruise along here on the live stream, keeping it real. Just got some kind of overview video of last year's aquatic experience to give you guys kind of an idea of if you are heading there this weekend. Some of the stuff you sort of may or may not see. Some of, you won't necessarily see any of the specific stuff here. You will see that creature, which I just walked past in the video. You will see a Jimmy, aka Noodle Legs. He will definitely be there. And we'll definitely be going, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in the video here, you'll see similar type things. Not necessarily everything specifically, obviously, but you'll definitely see some saltwater stuff like this. You'll definitely see some freshwater stuff. There'll be a bunch of cool displays and a lot of, honestly, a lot of really cool people to meet. That's the main reason I'm going. I see a lot of aquariums, and, not to sound somebody who's like, yeah, whatever. I see a lot of these convention type displays where, they have like a ton of coral or a bunch of fancy stuff set up. And honestly, I'm almost always more excited to see people's long-term projects. These really short setup tanks, like the water quality is not that great necessarily. Not to say that it's like toxic or anything like that, but like clarity is not necessarily what's happening. There's so it's not exactly the best display of the nature stuff that I really want to see, and or the projects that people are really working on and have been working on for a long period of time. So I find it to be a lot of fun to go and walk around. But for somebody like me that sees tanks like set up like this all the time, it does get a little bit monotonous. But the reason I say that is because the main thing that I am going for is being able to meet you guys, talk to people that, are on the East Coast that really would never be able to see in person necessarily. But the main attraction for me is to meet all the fans that are going to come out and say hi and want to actually be like, oh, I've always wanted to talk to you, and we got 10-15 minutes or something like that. Like, hey man, let's hang out, let's talk, let's say hi, at least introduce yourself and all that kind of stuff. It does become a little bit confusing personally that sometimes people don't introduce themselves as their YouTube handle, because they'll be like, hey, I'm Bob, and you're like, hi Bob, and they're like, but their handle would be like race car, whatever their YouTube handle would be, like Simply Beta. Okay, let me just go with Simply Beta. If she was to like come up and say hi, and I'd just be like, hey, it's like, oh no, I'm Simply Beta. Oh, got it. So it's kind of one of those things that I always try to remind people from. I try to remind people like from online interactions, like especially on YouTube, where people don't have like, I guess if you're on Facebook, normally people have like their full name. But as far as like YouTube and stuff, we all have different names and stuff like that. As Gillett says, race car avocado. There you go. That's perfect. That's a great follow-up. Let me catch up with the chat here a little bit and see what's up. Ricardo Bayonet says, why so early? Because I have to catch airplanes and stuff. And I have probably 12 hours of editing to get done, and I have to pack, and I have to, I have a lot of stuff to do in order to travel. So we're having to do an early show today or no show. And I figure an early show is much funner than a non-show. I see Sunia in the chat. Hey everyone, can't stay, but just dropping by to say hi. Hope to see everyone at Aquatic Experience. I'm so excited to hang out with Keng Lee and Sunia out at the Aquatic Experience. That is going to be great to see them again. I'm going to get to see them twice in 1 year, which is crazy. That is going to be super wild. Schwisky, oh my God, he just saw himself. Yes, he's the He's one of the people in the video in the background there. You'll be able to get to meet the Schwisky himself, a.k.a. Jimmy, a.k.a. Noodle Legs Entertainment, a.k.a. The Cavs Extraordinaire. Let's see. Gar is unfortunately not going to make this one. Hopefully next year. Yeah, I would encourage anybody to go if this is something that you're decidedly interested in. If this is something that you if you are really into fish tanks, this will be a lot of fun. Not only is it a kind of a networking event, but you could also look at a lot of the products that you maybe can't find at your local store. Like a perfect example would be, Flip Aquatics right here. They have a lot of the shrimp that you've probably seen online. They brought them out in person, so people could be able to actually look at them and check them out and actually see like, oh, wait a minute, these are as cool as I thought. And, that kind of stuff. Probably a bunch of plants that you maybe have never seen in person. I know there are a lot of people out there that don't live near the types of stores that we would all like to have right next door to us. And this could be a good opportunity to go see a ton of the stuff. Now, I mentioned shrimp, I mentioned plants and corals and stuff like that, but there also is a bunch of equipment that will be around, if you want to like actually put your hands on. And, I have no idea if Kessel is going to be there or not, but I'm just going to use them as an example, right? Like, let's say you always wondered how cool the Kessel LED lights are. They probably, if they were there, they'd have ones there that you could actually, like, play with the knobs, see how they actually work, like, whoa, what's the wiring, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So it could be a good opportunity. Like, I know that, like, none of my local stores carry everything I use. A lot of stuff that I order is off, online. Like I'll have to even go to Amazon for certain things because I can't even get them at, the local stores aren't necessarily even carrying all of the stuff that I use. Like an example. So like, let's see. So like this. Oh, hold on. Yep, there we go. Sorry, I had to find the actual one that I actually get. Can I get the link? Hello? So, like, here would be a perfect example. Like, I can't go get this filter material at any of the local stores around me. It's not at the hardware stores. It's not even at the pond maintenance place, which is weird. You would think. I went there yesterday. I had an appointment. I don't know if anybody has noticed. Nobody mentioned it in the chat. You guys, I got my new glasses. And I had to get some new glasses, as you guys know. A pretty wild financial snafu, realistically, if you get into it. I ruined another pair of glasses and had to go get some. I had to get them big time. The same day kind of deal. So it was not the cheapest thing you've ever been down. I've ever done, but just I guess to stay back on track. The reason why is because I stopped by the pawn store because they were right by the optometrist and the place that I had to go to get like same day glasses from them. And they didn't even carry that pond filter material, which would have been awesome for some, like, let's say somebody had never used it before. It would be awesome if somebody could, like, put their hands on it, see what it's like check it out, that kind of stuff. Conventions like this are perfect for that kind of stuff. Also, you will notice, like in the video, for instance, there's a bunch of driftwood type things. Now, I'm not saying that there's going to be driftwood at the Aquatic Experience, but that is a perfect example of the types of display type things that people would show up with. And, you might not see driftwood, like good driftwood at your store, and it is kind of difficult to find the what you see is what you get from online these days as far as like driftwood and things like that goes. So it might be a good opportunity if there's something that you've been looking for and trying to locate but having problems. So, you know, I think it's ultimately it's a lot of fun for the right people. If you're not necessarily like into necessarily talking to people or being around a lot of people or really even interested in aquarium stuff, it might not be a good fit for you. But I think there's a lot of people out there that it would be a lot of fun to definitely go and hang out. Luis Segura, what's up, man? Good to see you stopping in. Trying to make says this is really expensive aquarium I have never seen. Okay, all right. Kira Witt says, I haven't seen too many Kiras, so I think I'll be okay. Yeah, I think so. I think you'll be all right. Let's see. Wheezy, remember I gave you a couple of fish places to hit up in New Jersey while you're there if you have the time. I'm going to try. I know that the schedule is going to be completely jammed up while I'm there, so I'm going to try and catch some of those fish places. 100% appreciate the email. Totally awesome. Thanks for letting me know of some of the good spots out there to check out. I have kind of prioritized the trying to maybe get the Statue of Liberty or maybe some of the New York downtown stuff. That I kind of bumped that up as far as the priority goes, that if I have a bunch of free time for whatever reason, I'm going to try and do that. And I was looking at the hours of the aquatic experience, and there is a possibility that I get up early and go down and maybe get some, you know, snap some pictures or something like that of like the Statue of Liberty or downtown New York or something. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'll see if it's going to work out or not. But the schedule is pretty full, so I don't know if I'm going to really I don't know if I'm really going to be able to do any of that stuff, but we shall see. We shall see how it goes. Also, I don't. It's already. I definitely was going through the finances of the whole trip and everything, and it is going to be pretty blisteringly expensive. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, like pay for taxi cabs or whatever I got to do to get around. I know that M. Howie mentioned that he was going to help out with some driving around if we needed to do that, but it's always super difficult to put that burden on somebody. But well, we'll see what we can get done. I do hope to get some better footage than I got last year. As you guys can probably tell, this is actually my old camera. This isn't my new camera. So maybe I'll be able to get some better shots. Maybe I'll be able to get some better footage. I feel like when I go to these conventions, though, there's just so much redundancy in people posting, you know, videos from all of the stuff. Like, there's going to be, like 30 people posting videos from the aquatic experience, like, of the same thing. So I kind of held off from really, like, putting together too many videos of it last year because I felt like, wow, a lot of other people that do a better job than me were covering it. So I'm going to try and see what I can get and not be 100% stuck in the box of just like, you know, filming the stuff that everybody was filming. Schwisky says, maybe pull off a Chris Lukaup and leave at 4 a.m. to take photos. I might actually take Chris Lukaup at 4 a.m. and go take photos. I have been talking with him a little bit, and maybe we're going to try to figure out some kind of crazy adventure to go get some kind of crazy adventure to go maybe film some stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But let me catch up with the chat a little bit. Ricky Ranchu, what's going on? We're headed off to the aquatic experience. That's what's going on. Seth Farnham says, would I be able to give away my 2 sword plants at the aquatic experience? Possibly. There is probably a high probability that somebody would be like, Oh, you've got some sword plants in a bag, do you? You don't want them, huh? There's probably somebody there that would take them. There's the high likelihood that people at the Aquatic Experience have fish tanks. So it might be a good spot to stop by, I guess. I don't know. Personally, if I was just trying to give away plants or whatever, I would just head to my good local fish store and probably just... Personally, I would probably just take them to the local fish store and trade them in on credit. That's what I would go for. Just because, why not? I don't know. Let's see here. Let's catch up with the chat. Gillett says, what's your standard wake-up time, Joel? You seem to be like a pre-6 a.m. guy. Yes, I get up at minimum before 6 a.m. Obviously when I'm on the road, that stuff kind of changes a little bit because, you know, even just from here to the East Coast, it's a 3-hour difference. So if I get up at 5:30 my time, it's 8:30 on the East Coast. So it's going to be a quick adjustment to try and handle that, you know, that 3-hour difference. Honestly, the from here to Europe difference isn't honestly that bad, probably because it's just so traumatic, you know, like the time change is just so traumatic that it's like, yeah, it is whatever time it is, I guess. So it is kind of easier to get up in Europe at the right time as compared to the East Coast because the time change is only 3 hours, which is significant at 5 a.m., right? It's significant at 5 a.m., and as compared to 8 a.m., right? You know, if you get up at 5 or if you get up at 8, that's a big difference, right? It's obviously not that big of a difference when you start to think like, oh, what time do you go to bed? Oh, I go to bed at 9 p.m. It's like, oh, I go to bed at 12. And you'd be like, well, that's, you know, that's not, I guess it's exactly the same. Because it's weird to go to bed at 8. But it's not that weird to go to bed at 11. I don't know. Stream of consciousness is weird today. Andre Sal is here. That is good. Gilla gets up at 7 a.m. That's still quite early. It's early enough, generally speaking. I think in New Zealand, 7 a.m. is like 5 a.m. in the States, I think. Right? Because there's not a whole lot of early morning stuff going on in New Zealand, right? They're not, I don't think. I don't know. I've never been. I would love to go, and then I'd be able to tell you firsthand. But I will tell you, Sacramento, California, 5 a.m. is just too early for that town. I tell you. I was down there earlier this year in California at Sacramento, and went out walking around at like 5:30. It was too early. It was too early for that town. They couldn't handle it. They were just like, no, this is too early. We're a pretty big deal here in Sacramento. We sleep in. Tank Tested is here. What's up, Alex? I almost stuck you in the video. Hold on. Maybe I can actually do this. Add source. Media file. Now we have to go into the depths of my media files. Let's see. I think it's in here. November. Oh, man. We're getting close. Now, I have to say, I met Alex from Tank Tested last year, and I have a picture of it, of our meeting, and this is great. This, if you were wondering who brings you the majesty of Tank Tested, there's Alex right there. And, you know, I was tempted to put it in, but since you came in and we see you here, I think this handsome fella only has one concern. I think this tall drink of water, this handsome cinematographer, he's only got one concern here. And we got to turn the whiteboard on for this one concern that we got. Hey, man, if you're out in public, you got to... Oh, whoops, I got to move my whiteboard. There we go. You got to spruce up, you know, you got to use a little extra gel next time, my bro. You know what I mean? You got to use a little... just a little hold it down. Tidy it up. Love it. And I'm so happy to get the opportunity to get to see you again this year. Hopefully we get more time to powwow. I'm not sure if Alex is going to be working. Hopefully we can hang out. Maybe we could go to dinner. I don't know. Maybe we could do an early morning coffee. I don't know. But that's like one of those exact examples of, the reason I'm going is being able to hang out and meet people and spend some time to honestly just get more personal relationship with you guys. You know what I mean? And that it's just really going to be a lot of fun. Simply Beta says, at Tank Tested, is a tall drink of water. Yes, he's a tall fella. He's one of them tall fellas. And like I said, hopefully we'll get to spend some time together and do the usual, the hangout, whatever people do when they hang out, I guess. I don't know. I'm like a weirdo that doesn't know how to communicate hanging out. Tank Test is competing in the nano competition, but other than that, I'll just be wandering. Okay, cool, perfect. So you're going to be tied up for one day doing the nano competition. That is going to be that's going to be great. And but you're going to be tied up for a day. Definitely going to be tied up for a day. So maybe we'll figure out a Saturday or something, and we can all maybe we go film the Statue of Liberty together or something. I don't know. Circular Mirror says, I have a yo-yo loach that is pretty aggressive. Would it be able to live with coolie loaches if there's enough space and glow light tetras to spread the aggression? Whew. Man. Now that is a question. That is a question with, this really just, I think honestly, this kind of comes down to, man, I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's just going to be a reality of like which fish you got, how it's going to work out. If you have a fish that is, I would say 100% that if you have a fish that's too aggressive and it's in a situation, the best thing that you can do is try and either relocate or give them a bigger habitat, or like you said, spread the aggression out and stuff like that. If that's going to be the best thing that you can do, because you are the human that is involved in creating a small ecosystem. Now, I'm not saying that anybody's like playing God, but just think of the analogy that like you're sort of the God over this situation, and if you don't intervene, it's just going to keep, whatever is happening is just going to keep snowballing or something like that. So yes, I think human intervention is the best thing that you could do in that situation. I would try the fish in another place, but obviously you're going to have to do a lot of observation, find out if that's what has dialed down the aggression. But yes, just keep trying, honestly, keep trying, new things to try and make sure that your little ecosystem is working better than it currently is for that fish specifically. You know what I mean? Hopefully it works out. I've tried blackout periods where I've just had the lights off, and sometimes that works. But it just, for there to be like one answer, I wouldn't say that there is one answer, but yes, you're in charge of the intervention. So I would definitely get in there. Simply Beta says, tell us a bit about the competitions. Do people bring their own tanks and materials for them? Okay. So the aquascaping competitions, yes, people bring their own materials, but the tanks are normally sponsored by a company so that everybody is working with the same tank, right? So all the tanks are uniform. They have them laid out, and then typically you don't know who worked on what tank. Now, me being the kind of guy who has the pass that I can come in early and those kinds of things, I'm not in charge of voting. And if there is a public vote, I wouldn't vote on it because I normally have the opportunity to show up early and sort of know which tank is which and that kind of stuff. The judging is normally a blind judging situation, so there's no name or anything on the tank until after the judging. Then they'll throw up something that says, oh, hey, this was Tank Tested's tank. This was Lucas Brett's tank. This was, you know, Rob from Flip Aquatic's tank, that kind of stuff. So, you know, it is pretty cool. As an observer, it honestly is pretty cool because you just get to go through and look at a lot of people's interpretation of, you know, a nano tank or a medium-sized tank or a large tank, whatever the competition is, and just really kind of look around and take the time to be able to just kind of look around at a lot of different, like I said, I guess interpretations, I guess, is a good way to put it. But you get to look at a lot of people's things, whereas if you kind of go to a store, you know, oftentimes a store will just have like sort of a singular vision or one person at least guiding that type of stuff. It's one of the reasons I really enjoyed Green Aqua. Green Aqua, they bring in a lot of different aquascapers to come in and do their own versions of the tank. So it's like George Farmer had done a tank, Uri's had done a tank, Victor had done a tank. So like every single tank at Green Aqua was done by a different person, whereas sort of stateside, you know, you go to a place and, you know, somebody at least, the owner or whoever has a real, you know, say in what's going on with the tanks and stuff like that. And ultimately that will sort of tunnel vision, that kind of thing. So it's really, it's really kind of a good deal in that fact to be able to go to a competition because you get to see a lot of interpretations. I don't remember how many tanks were at Aquatic Experience last year. I don't remember how many nano tanks there were, but there's at least 20, you know, so that to me is almost just kind of worth it to be able to go check out like 20 different aquascapes. Uwe Deloriac Peterson is here. What's up? Our favorite Greenlander in the house. Tank Testa says this year we will be using 15-gallon cube tanks in the nano competition. Who knows what each tank will hold, though. I love the weird crystal structure tank last year. I personally did not like the crystal structure tank. It was almost 100%, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, right? It's just my opinion that I guess it's just my opinion that I thought that the crystal tank, where it was just all these crystal shards put in, and I think it was inspired by Superman's house or something. You know what I mean? Like, is it the Fortress of Solitude? I just felt like it was really mailed in. Like, I get the concept was kind of cool, but it's like, dude, you're in a competition and you kind of just put some plastic into a tank, and that was it. So it felt mailed in to me. Like, I get that. I get the idea, you know? I get the idea, but I don't know. It just felt mailed in, like there just wasn't even any real work done into it. Tank Testa says it was 30 tanks last year. Okay, it was 30 tanks, so it was even more than 20. That's at least half as much more, right? Fish Nerd says, my fair and faultless opinion, the crystal tank was boring and felt lazy. Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt. It was like, it was just, you know. Schwisky says that was Pectec's tank. I don't think that was Pectec's tank. Pectec's tank had the mask in it, I think. He made like a big fake wooden mask, I think, was in it. Bentley Pascal says likely... Bentley, I was growing Bacopa, water spray, and Cryptlutea. So how many bags do you think for what? Let me see. How many bags of Eco Complete for a 75-gallon? Oh, okay. I can actually answer this one. It's the weird thing is that Fluval Stratum will take 2 bags. Eco Complete will take 4 bags, which kind of sucks. But I hope that like I made a video that showed you guys like the volume comparison versus the weight. The weight was is what confuses people when they're buying a bag of substrate for their aquarium, is that they'll go like, oh, this one's 17 pounds and this one's 20 pounds. And you're like, yeah, but the volume is considerably different. And that's one of the real reasons that I like the Fluval stratum, is that there's a lot more volume to it in comparison to the other sort of standard issue substrates that we use. Now, the main reason I use it is because I find it to be a really nice, long-lasting, usable substrate, and it's easy to plant, it's easy to manage. I like the look of it. It really does lend itself well to, you know, photography and that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's just a long list, but EcoComplete is also a fantastic substrate. And I've definitely used that many, many times. And I'm even putting some EcoComplete in the 120s right now. So, you know, as Bentley says, look at fluorite. It's super heavy compared to its volume. Yeah, that's right. Simply Beta, I don't know about these competitions. I'll have to enter next year. Feel free. I personally don't enter the... I haven't even bothered to enter a competition, especially like at the Aquatic Experience. I would enter some of the smaller competitions, maybe, and it's not because it's not smaller as in like less competition or anything like that, but something that I could do ahead of time, sort of. As far as the competition goes or whatever, it would cost a lot for me to fly out a couple days early, and that's really like unfair for a lot of people. So it's basically, I think the whole the competition. All the scaping happens in like an 8-hour period, I think, something like that. And it just burns up the whole day. It burns up one whole day of the convention. And personally, like if I'm flying across the country, I'm paying for hotel rooms, and I'm doing all this stuff. And my main reason is to be able to meet the fans. The last thing I want to do is spend a whole day not meeting the fans while I was there. Hopefully that makes sense. Like the whole reason I'm going is to be able to meet people, and you can't be meeting people while you're aquascaping in like a hidden area. You know what I mean? So if there was a way to do it, like set them up like a couple days ahead of time and then just be present for the whole convention, that I would be in for. You know what I mean? Whereas the smaller type stuff that's around near me or whatever, like that could be a possibility, but you know, until somebody kind of organizes a competition that works that way, I don't think I'm ever going to do one, because of those reasons, because you end up spending a whole day where you could be meeting people and talking to people and saying hi to people that, like for instance, if somebody could only come on Friday, that's the only day that they could show up. And while they were there, it's like, oh, well, Corvus is super busy, like, competing with other people. I would feel bad. I would feel terrible that, like, you know, somebody spent their time, spent their money to come out, and it's like, oh, so the dude's here, but I can't even say hi to him? Like, oh, come on, man. And it's pretty vain of me to think that I don't think anybody would actually be coming out just to meet me, but if it made their experience worse because a part of what they wanted to do was like meet me, right? And then they couldn't, and they were like, yeah, Aquatic Experience was okay. Then I just think it would, I don't know. It just doesn't seem that great to me. Ryan C. Well, I've already bought 6 bags of EcoComplete so far, so is that too much or do I need more? I would go plop the 6 bags in there, and if it's going to be deep enough for you, I would just honestly go with it. Brendan Wagner just showing up halfway through the show. What's up? Lisa Pett says, what would you say? Early stream, you made my day. Oh, right on. I appreciate it. You made my day for showing up. We got a super chat here I missed. Daryl Deemer with a $10 super chat saying, see you all at Aquatic Experience. Yes, I can't wait to meet Daryl in person. If I've never, well, maybe I don't think I've ever met Daryl in person. Could be wrong. But either way. Ed's Fish says, all of a sudden I'm hungry for breakfast food. I am super hungry. I haven't eaten anything yet today, and I'm going to be getting all over that here shortly. All right, let's move on. We've got the Patreon questions, because I don't want to miss the Patreon questions this week. I don't want to miss your questions. I don't want to pay. Wait, I do want a Patreon. Wait, what? How does this go? This song is ridiculous. Somebody call those Aerosmiths and ask them how it goes. It's a goofy song anyhow. It's a terrible song. Terrible movie. That was awful. Anyhow, on to the Patreon questions. If y'all don't know what the Patreon is, hey man, what are you, born in a barn? You been living in a barn? Let's be honest here for a second. A lot of negativity coming at me recently about people being super upset because, you know, we do things like we talk about the Patreon, and what the Patreon is a fan funding site. We're basically crowdfunding the ability to do things like go to the Aquatic Experience. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to afford to go to the Aquatic Experience if it wasn't for you guys. The people on the Patreon. If the people on the Patreon weren't there, you know, throwing down or whatever, it wouldn't be possible. It just would not be happening. I would not be flying out to Jersey to go to the Aquatic Experience. So I'm utterly grateful. I'm utterly humbled by the whole situation. It's awesome. It's amazing, and we're essentially, we're crowdfunding the ability to do bigger and better projects, and I'm going to keep doing my best to show up the best I can for you guys. And there are certain people out there that are like, the common thread that I've heard is that they're like, what do you think? Like, we owe you something, like you're, like we owe you for whatever. And I don't think that anybody owes me for anything. As you guys know, there is a, there's no obligation. You guys can come onto YouTube, watch YouTube. I have 850 videos up. You could go watch all those. It's free to watch them. There's no obligation to be a supporter or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just eternally grateful to the people that are supporting the potential of being able to move into bigger and better projects and stuff like that. So Jordan Fisher says, hey, did you know Corey is shutting his Patreon down? Just got the email a few days ago. Yes. Realistically, if I get to a point where Corey's at, I will probably do the same thing. Corey is doing really well. He has all the money. They have all the equipment. The reason he started his Patreon is the same reason that I had my Patreon. It's like being able to afford to travel, being able to afford, new camera equipment, new lenses, and that kind of stuff. As you guys know, I'm still building all of the stuff that I can. We had to get a new audio interface the other day and stuff like that. I'm doing the best to build out as much as I have. And so it's one of those things that, Corey is doing really well and doesn't need any money. So he's like going to shut it down because he's like, I don't want people to be giving me money if I don't need money for any of the projects that he's doing. So I respect that. I respect it 100%. And it's a full disclosure situation that, if I won the lottery or something, or let's say I had a big sponsor come in and be like, oh, we're going to pay for everything, right? Don't worry about any of that stuff. Then I would for sure shut the Patreon down myself. It's just really, it's one of those things. Mac Mountaineer says it's the same reason addicts stand on the side of the street with a cardboard sign. Is it the exact same reason? Is it the same reason? So I'm like an addict standing on the side of the road with a cardboard sign? Well, I can tell you, as somebody who's been sober for almost 5 years, and I consider myself to you know, I'm in recovery. I'll be in recovery for the rest of my life. So somebody who actually, I would consider myself somebody that actually knows a little bit about people that stand on the side of the road, addicts, alcoholics, that kind of stuff. That's people that I work with on a regular basis to help out that community as much as I can. I don't believe it's the same thing because, you know, most people standing on the side of the road with the cardboard sign are basically asking something for nothing. Today, you know, here's one of those things, like, my time is personally valuable. And if this was a side project that I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it, I could go back to, you know, putting the show out at 10 o'clock at night. You know, how many people showed up to say today that they were appreciative that we're doing the early show today because they're able to show up live and that kind of stuff. So I think, you know, if people don't think that my time is valuable, then that's fine. You know, I'm cool. You know, everyone is 100% welcome to have their own opinion on everything that goes on. But I consider my time to be valuable. Maybe I don't put on the best, fanciest show in the whole entire world or anything like that, but I do the best that I can to try and show up and help people as much as I can, and hopefully it is helpful to certain people. So let's see. Kristen Varbeg says, Hola, have you bred Severums before? It's the time I got eggs but no luck. How do I do it? I would be terrible at giving advice for breeding Severums. I never have done that before. I've had some experience with, like, taking care of them, but breeding, oh man, I just would not be the guy. But as far as, like, the basic advice would go, I would just get deep into searching some of the forums and that kind of stuff, any kind of write-ups that you can find about them, and see how much you can emulate their environment as much as possible, where they breed, how they breed, and just keep plugging away on it. If you're getting them to drop eggs and they are fertilized eggs and stuff like that, that's the first step, and you're on the right path. So you might be just missing one weird little thing, and so I would just say just keep working on it, and probably try to read up a little bit. I guess a guy that I could recommend that I know who has bred Severums would be Sergeant Tank. He would be a guy who's, like, on YouTube that you could probably check out. Maybe bug him a little bit and see if he has some secrets. Big Andy here saying Corey is closing it as he does not need the money, as he won't be traveling that much, he said on his video. Yes, that's kind of one of those things, is that he's doing quite well. 54 Punchy says, yes, Corey is just going to go with the join button on his YouTube. Yep. I'm sure at some point in time, if I ever get the opportunity to have the join button, that might be a different option that I could go for. But as I've mentioned in previous times, it really boils down to, if you're on YouTube, you're not going to get the tools that the big channels get. There's a lot of thresholds. You have to have enough subscribers, you know, and certain amounts of views and those kinds of things. And the reason I started up Patreon is I'm a small channel. I'm a really small channel, and I don't even have a join button. I can't activate a join button. I can't do that. There are other smaller channels out there that do live streams and stuff like that, like Jeffro's Tanks. I don't know if you've ever seen Jeffro's Tanks. I like to stop in on his live stream, but you know, he couldn't even monetize until he got up to 1,000, right? So it really, you know, you won't get those tools in order to be able to, like, buy a new camera. If I dropped my camera and broke it, like, even just getting it repaired is going to cost a lot of money, and that kind of stuff, whether people appreciate that or not, it exists. You know, it really does exist. That, like, well, you know, I'd like to make more YouTube videos, but I broke my camera or something. You know what I mean? So that stuff exists for real. And the reason that I utilize Patreon and stuff is because I don't have a lot of those tools that like really big channels have. Like, I can't even email YouTube and get an email back from them because I don't even have over 20,000 subscribers. So they're like, yeah, whatever. You know, like, my if I email them, it just goes into the ether. It just goes away probably. They probably just delete it immediately, right? Jordan Fisher, 20 days sober, the longest in 15 years. Congratulations. That is awesome. You know, keep working at it. Keep going along. It just gets better and better. You know, when I got sober and, you know, those first couple weeks, people were telling me that kind of stuff, and I thought, y'all's tripping, y'all crazy. I don't know what you know, I have to admit it now that I was having those thoughts like, whatever, man, these dudes are full of it. And so I get it. I get what's going on. And if I say, if I say it gets better, I know that it's really going to hit you and you're going to be like, whatever, man, that's not that big of a deal. Or maybe you're not. I don't know. I'm just saying it happened to me. So if it's happening to you, just trust in the fact that I'm being honest with it, that it does just keep getting better and better. And it's awesome to hear that you're at 20 days. That's fantastic. Just keep it going. Just remember, today's the only day that you got to deal with as far as that stuff goes. As long as you're handling today and not being, you know, as long as you're not drinking or drugging today, you'll be good. You'll be good to go, and it'll just keep adding up. And the next thing you know, it'll be wild. JCP Aquatic says LRB is a super chat machine. Yeah, LR Bretts does. I have noticed whenever I stop into the LR Bretts, it's like, man, there's a ton of super chats on here. This is wild. You know, he also has a Patreon too, which is awesome, and I see people supporting it all the time, and that's rad. I think really, honestly, it is a tool that the smaller channels can use to at least try and keep up the pace and stuff like that. Tank Testa says, I endorse the sentiment on time. Making content takes a ludicrously huge amount of time. It's nice to support the people who donate their time for our entertainment, but it's never an obligation. That's right. Like, no one's obligated to donate or any of that kind of stuff, but my time, you know, I get paid for working when I work, you know what I mean? So if I'm not doing my other work, I got to figure out somehow to pay the bills, because the bills don't just go away just because I'm like Max Headroom here on your screen, you know what I mean? Jordan Fisher says, hey, had to throw it out, and thank you for sharing your story about your addiction problem a few months ago. It stuck in the brain until I checked into outpatient rehab 3 weeks ago. Thanks again. That is awesome, Jordan. I'm so glad to hear that. One of the main reasons I came back to YouTube, you know, I took a huge break. I think a lot of people know that. I took like a 1.5 year break, 2 years, something like that, from really doing any YouTube videos and stuff. You know, mainly because I was getting sober. I got sober. I was going to, you know, I was going to therapy. I was going to meetings. I was going to all that stuff, and I just didn't necessarily have time. And I also didn't have time for, you know, producing content. I really didn't, you know. So, it's just really one of the things, you know. Vexing Cat says LRB looks more hungry than you do. I know. He should maybe shave, I think. Maybe that would help. Sigler Bro says, I remember when you went sober and dropped off the face of the YouTube earth, went through withdrawals of your videos. Glad you were able to keep clean. Yeah, it's great, you know. Like I said, life gets better, and you just keep working away a little bit by little bit. And, you know, it's one of the reasons I left all those old videos up on YouTube. It's easy to go back and look at them and just be like, man, what a disaster. And, it's doing pretty good. Greg Jones says, don't miss your flights. I won't miss my flights. They're at the weirdest times, so don't worry about it. It will be fine. Anyhow, let's get on to the Patreon questions. We've talked about a whole bunch of nonsense here, but Lisa Camilleri sent us in on October 12th some great breakdown of utilizing test kits, figuring out what was going on with her pH, figuring out what was going on with her general hardness. This is a fantastic little read that is definitely very helpful. Now, I said I can't answer this one on the show. I'll type a response up. After reading it a couple times, I realized that, yes, I could probably pretty easily respond to this and go, it took the months of money and medicine to realize the complete failure. I'm obviously changing that word. I'm not going to. Okay, her complete stupidity. Now, I'm now back on the test strips. I've added crushed coral to all my tanks and doing twice weekly water changes. I'm slowly waiting for the tanks to come back from the brink of chaos. So if there's anything you can learn from my mistakes, whatever paranoia you have about what might be going on, test everything first. Also, you cannot rely on hard water to never run out of minerals. An uncontrolled pop of snails will consume every last drop of calcium in your water. This is a great read. I would honestly say, you know, anybody that's on the Patreon, I'm not sure if you're a non-patronizer, if you can go read it or not, but I would definitely read it, kind of do the walkthrough, realize, like, you just realize how much goes into, you know, keeping fish sometimes, figuring out which tests are going to work for you, which things are going to work, and just really like what it takes sometimes to really work your way through a big time issues that you have going on. And it's honestly a really good read. So I would highly recommend to go check it out if you get a chance. Derek throwing in heaters says, I need to buy heaters for 12 20-gallon tanks. Do you have an affordable suggestion? Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Derek. There we go. I don't know if I know how to speak correctly. Sorry. But heaters, as far as going with a fish room and a lot of aquariums, is that water really grabs a lot of thermal mass. It'll either carry a lot of thermal mass or it'll really grab a lot of thermal mass from air and stuff like that. Honestly, as far as a big fish room goes, I would more appropriately say that instead of 20 individual heaters, the more efficient and affordable way to go is to actually heat the room itself. Right now, I utilize a dehumidifier. It's kind of a double whammy because it is not only creating some heat as it, you know, as it, the waste air, essentially, like the waste air with air quotes on it, is a lot warmer than the ambient temperature, and it's also taking some of the added humidity out of the air. So it's kind of a double whammy action. It's sort of like running a little heater in the whole entire room, and it keeps the ambient temperature up. Whereas, you know, just utilizing heaters is going to be a little bit problematic. You know, so I would really consider figuring out how to heat the room if I was putting in a bunch of 20 gallons. This obviously says 12 20 gallons, and I'm getting 20 all mixed up. But 12 20-gallon tanks, I would just keep the room warmer. It's going to be kind of the best way to go. Brendan Wagner says, it's an unfinished basement, doesn't want to build walls. I read that last night. Then if that's the case, if you don't want to build walls, then I would go find Tazawa Tanks. Go find Tazawa Tanks channel and look up how he utilized some plastic and he mounted some insulation to it. So he had some real temporary walls in, he currently lives in a rental, so he wasn't going to build walls or do anything like that. And it's down in his basement. So that will be the best video for you to go watch. I mean, you go find Tazawa Tanks and check out some of his basement fish room that's down there. It's going to be the best way to go. So he's not only is he using a dehumidifier, a little heater, but he built some faux walls with some of the foam insulation and plastic poly sheeting, and it is working wonders. And obviously, that is going to be the cheapest thing to do instead of building walls and stuff like that. You know, just from personal experience, just that many tanks, you know, you start to figure out it's like 20 gallons times 12, so you got 240 gallons of water to heat. It's going to be quite a bit with the plop and drop heaters. If you really want a heater that you're going to drop into the water, the Fluval heaters are pretty nice. The Eheim heaters are pretty nice. Basically, when it comes down to a heater, like the more money you spend, the more warranty that they put on it, that kind of stuff, generally the more durable and better it's going to be. I like the Fluval ones because of the little LED, LCD, I don't know. The screen that's on there lets you know if it's malfunctioning or not. That's just pretty much the reason I like those ones. Realistically, they're easier to. Well, there's two reasons. They're easier to set the temperature because it has the screen, and it also will tell you if it's malfunctioning. Like if the temperature is weird for whatever reason. Then again, if the thing that tells you it's malfunctioning is broken, I don't really wouldn't know what to do at that point except throw it out. But heaters are always a problem, and I would say ultimately heating the room is probably going to be the best thing. Kelly Peterson throwing us down a picture of some snail pile, which this was a response to a something I mentioned in a live stream where Kelly had showed us her just how good she is at organizing her fish food. She says, in response to your question about why I keep Wardley's pond pellets in my food stash, ram's horn and bladder snails eat to indiscriminately to rate the $5 an ounce fish food. Oh, okay, sorry. It was just difficult to read that sentence out loud. Sorry. Ram's horn and bladder snails eat too indiscriminately to basically buy $5 an ounce fish food. I started raising them as a food source for a planned pea puffer tank, but thankfully I enjoy them since I haven't set up the pea puffer tank yet. All right, so you've got like a ram's horn colony going, and that's why you have the Wardley's food. That makes total sense. Okay. Okay. Now this makes sense to me. You have a snail colony, and so you got Wardley's food because it's so cheap, and snails will eat anything. So, all right, it makes sense. It makes sense. All right, I'll lay off you, and I won't make fun of your Wardleys anymore because it actually does make sense, and I might consider doing that myself. Steve Horton throwing down, got himself some new toys. Look at this little sump. Now, I'm not 100% sure what you could even do with this little sump. This thing is... Does size matter? It matters when we're talking about sumps, right? But I can personally say this skimmer does work. Good skimmer, good pump. The overflows, the siphon overflows, man, you are way more courageous than I am. I've seen so many siphon overflow disasters that I just can't even think about it anymore. But congratulations. This little sump, obviously, you could plumb it into some other stuff and do some really cool things with it. So that actually is really cool. The overflow thing, siphon overflow, skimmer, yes, let's do this skimmer. By the way, I got a little video coming out talking to you guys about my new skimmer that I got. I got it for free, 50. It was free, so I'll be gifting my other skimmer to somebody else. Although I did gift a skimmer to Kevin, so maybe I'm even. Maybe I'm even on the regifting thing. Maybe I'm even on the regifting because I did give my other skimmer to Kevin. So maybe I'm even. Maybe I'll sell it for $20. Whoa! But I don't know. I digress. Congratulations, Steve. This is awesome. Can't wait till my sump video comes out. You guys know I'm sump crazy, and I got some new sumps. You guys saw the preview. If you're on the Patreon, you saw the cardboard boxes. Fragile. Must be Italian. Whoa. Chad Krotz throwing in. Here is the left-hand side of my 40-gallon breeder. The plant in question is the Aponogeton. I purchased 6 bulbs in a beta cup that was simply labeled Aponogeton. For roughly $5, my noob senses said, good deal. However, whoever can ID these will win my sincere appreciation. I like that. Any ideas on planting it out are surely welcome as well. Yeah, okay, there we go. Planting it, that is pretty easy. I can actually, let's turn on the whiteboard. All right, so you want to plant... Oh, I have to put the whiteboard, turn it on. All right, so this bulb, you want to plant, like if this red line I'm drawing here is the substrate, so you want to put the bulb, this part, into the substrate and leave this all-important part right here above the substrate. If you follow that, you'll be fine. super easy to plant, especially when you already have all the leaves and everything going on. It's pretty easy to actually plant this. Yeah, so that's not going to really be an issue. Planting it is pretty easy. Honestly, this looks, from the paper plate we got going here, it looks like an Aponogeton natans or ulvaceus, but honestly, I would have to spend a little more time to identify these leaves here exactly. The upside is that Aponogetons all pretty much have the same, water parameters to care. The amount of light and all that kind of stuff is all really similar. So I think realistically, you'll be fine. You could just pretty much look up Aponogeton, figure out your water parameters from there, and it should be real easy to keep that growing. And as you guys know, the Aponogetons are one of the centerpiece in the 240. It's one of the center plants that's in there in the very back, and kind of nursing those back to health at this point. They got kind of buried in the back and had a bunch of stuff in front of them, and it was a little bit problematic. Chad Kratz throwing down a tank pick. All right, I'm digging this dragon. I'm digging this dragon here, and it looks like he's gotten some Aponogetons in there also, doing quite well. I'm wondering what this floater is, though. I'd like to see what plant this is that's this floater. Marimo moss balls, I will never do it again. I will never... okay, I'll never say never, but, I mean, really... I'll probably fall for it again, like a year from now or something. But as you guys know, I seeded Marimo moss ball in my 240. That Cladophora algae is just out of control, and it's just been a real mental situation of frustration with the Cladophora algae that Marimo moss balls is what it actually is. It started spreading around in there, and I've just been slowly but surely eradicating it, and it has just been a bit of a nightmare. So, like I said, I'm not going to say I'll never fall for it ever again, but I probably will. Brendan Wagner says, hey, y'all, I'm new to the community. Just started my tanks 8 months ago. A 10-gallon to be a shrimp tank, and a 29-gallon community tank. I have 8 neon tetras, 6 harlequin rasboras, 3 autosynclus, a pictus catfish I'd like to find a better home for, and a gold mystery snail. I used to have 2. I just made a tree in a 29-gallon with Java moss from the 10-gallon. Just wondering what y'all think of the 29-gallon as it is. Please excuse the spots for super glue. I'm hoping it'll grow to hide it and it's dirty water because I took the pic right after putting the tree back in. I dig it. I've done that myself many times. I'm like, yeah, I got everything set up. Time to take a picture. Oh, no, I have to wait till tomorrow. I forgot. And then I don't want to. And then I don't want to wait. So I blast it out on Instagram and, that kind of thing. So whatever. But don't worry, I do that myself, and don't be stressed out about it. We like getting to check it out. You know what I mean? Barbara Jackson, she says she has Cladophora growing in tufts on large pieces of lava rock. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks cool too, but it doesn't do great long-term photography, that kind of stuff. It just starts spreading and going crazy. So I'm eradicating it because I have to. Richard's tank says none of them in my mixed tank. Alyssa Bentley, Richard's tank. Pistos count as cichlids. I will say they leave all my plants alone, including the random val I have. That's true. Just think of it this way. Small cichlids, fine. Big cichlids, not so great. That's the easy way to do it. Let's see. Chalk bedrock where I live, so mostly calcium, Brian. Notably hard water, renowned for killing off kettles or washing machines in double quick time. Oh, yeah. You get that super hard water, maybe just play to that. Play to that strength if you can. Kiwi Mamo says, yawn stretch, you guys started early this morning. It's 8 a.m. Where is it 8 a.m.? Oh, New Zealand, it's 8 a.m. tomorrow, I think. I think that's how it works. Natural Aquarium says, I have a 125-gallon tank with a sump that I am currently setting up. I'm concerned about the heaters melting the acrylic sump. Is this a valid concern? And if so, what solution would you recommend? Natural Aquariums, that is not going to happen. You're not going to melt acrylic with a heater unless it's in direct contact and you don't have water in it. So the thing that I would recommend with that is the solution I would recommend, make sure do not run the heater dry. 100%. Do not run the heater dry anyhow. But just make sure that it's got water around it, and the acrylic will be 100% fine. Richard's Tank says, I got some nice Java ferns growing new shoots. Will they eat jungle val? Who's going to eat jungle val? Let me see. Anyone had cichlids eat jungle val? Yeah, I've seen cichlids eat jungle val, that's for sure. I've seen them eat the dwarf hairgrass, but they normally are like uprooting stuff. I don't necessarily see them like really eating a whole lot, but they're normally uprooting it and trying to just get rid of it. Fishhead says, I made a huge mess in my daughter's tank with the moss balls. I have 2 Florida flagfish in there now, and they are going to town and doing a great job. Yeah, if I could put a Florida flagfish in my tank, then that would be good, but there's too much competition for flagfish to really effectively even go for the algae. I don't think they would go for the algae. I think they would go for all the other things that they could eat in the tank instead. Brian Stanford just started breeding celestial pearl danios. I have 40+ babies growing out. Going to try danio etheromicrons. Is that right? I'm probably saying that wrong. Once the males try to make it through quarantine, super excited. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Man, I've never bred celestial pearl danios. I probably should get on that. I probably should get some first. It's probably the easiest thing. Mellow Moogle says YouTube is freaking out for anybody else. Not for me, no. But yesterday, the YouTube's the crash of YouTube was completely insane, and there just really was nothing anyone could do about it. It just was nothing anybody could do. YouTube died yesterday. I don't know if anybody knows that. Okay, I have no idea what's going on right now. What are you doing, Biddy? Biddy Brown. Oh my God. UPS man. You guys, it's UPS man. Can we trust the UPS man? Biddy Brown, relax. Yeah. Biddy Brown is next level antagonized by the other Brown. What can Brown do for you? UPS. That's the one. She goes crazy. Anyhow, guys, I got to get to packing. It is 12:15. I got to get finished up and get ready to hit the road. So I got a bunch of editing to do and a bunch of other stuff. So I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Special thank you to the patronizers. Like I said, it's not possible without you dudes and gals, dudes and bro ladies, lady bros, dude bros and lady bros. Is that how? I don't know. I don't know how to say anything. Daryl Deemer, thank you very much for your super chat contribution, my guy. I very much appreciate it. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic weekend. I will be back when I'm back, probably a week from now. So hopefully everybody has a fantastic time while I'm gone. Keep me updated. Throw me some posts on the old Facebook. Throw me some posts on the Patreon. Do some whatevers, you know. Don't forget to hit the like button, the share button, and the like button. Caress them, smash them, smush them, hit them with a hammer. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do. Everybody's got some kind of weird catchphrase these days. Maybe just program a new like button. I don't know. Throw some 1s and 0s in there, and then the button will activate, right? I think. I'm not 100% sure. But thanks, everybody, for coming out. If I missed your question, always throw it down in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to answer it later on. I don't, you know, sometimes these things happen. I just miss them because I don't read so good. But have a great time out there, and I'll do my best to have a great time out there. Hope to see you at the Aquatic Experience later.